Hey, glad you're here. In this video, we're talking about the signals your body sends long before blood tests and diagnoses show anything wrong. If topics like health, energy, and understanding your body matter to you, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into it. You can feel tired for years, sleep poorly, get irritated more easily, notice your hair thinning, your skin changing, your energy slowly disappearing, and still be completely convinced that overall you're fine. Because either you've never had labs done or you did, and they came back within the normal range. So technically, there's nothing to worry about. And this is where the biggest mistake happens. We're used to thinking the body breaks suddenly. That first everything's fine and then boom, a problem. But that's not how the body works. It warns you for a long time, quietly, patiently, not with pain, but with small changes that you slowly get used to. Today, I'm going to show you the signals your body sends long before diagnoses and lab results. Not so you start diagnosing yourself, but so you realize your body has already been talking to you. And if, as you're watching, you recognize yourself in even a few moments, that's not coincidence. Closer to the end, I'll also explain which tests actually make sense, and which ones mostly just create the illusion of control. We live in a world that only trusts numbers. There's paperwork. It's real. No paperwork, you made it up. But your body doesn't wait for a lab appointment. It changes its behavior every single day through sleep, energy, skin, mood, focus. These aren't small things. This is the body's language. The question isn't whether signals exist, it's whether we know how to hear them. Let's start with the most common signal, fatigue that doesn't go away. You sleep. You're not overworking, but you wake up already exhausted. And at some point you start telling yourself, I'm just lazy. I'm getting older. I need to push harder. But very often, this has nothing to do with personality. It's iron deficiency. B vitamins, magnesium. Iron carries oxygen. When it's low, your body runs in permanent low battery mode. Brain, muscles, hormones, everything works worse. Magnesium and B12 are essential for cellular energy. When they're low, your cells are literally starving. That's why coffee helps at first and then suddenly stops working. It doesn't give you energy, it just temporarily hides the exhaustion. And if you think that's it, it gets more interesting. Because the next signal is something most people blame on mental health. You go to bed tired, but your brain won't shut off. Thoughts keep spinning. Sleep becomes light and shallow. And almost everyone thinks, stress, nerves, I just need a vacation. But very often, it's not psychological at all. Low magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins keep the brain stuck in fight or flight mode even at night. So technically, you slept. But in the morning, it feels like you just laid there with your eyes closed. If this sounds familiar, you're going to keep nodding. Dry skin, flaking, cracks at the corners of your mouth, hair shedding. First reaction, creams, masks, new shampoo. But skin is one of the first tissues to suffer from deficiencies because it renews quickly and shows problems fast. Most often, this is low vitamin A, E, zinc, or biotin. Cracks at the mouth corners are a classic sign of B2 and iron deficiency. Hair follows the same pattern. It grows slower, gets thinner, loses shine. Not because your shampoo sucks, but because your body is reallocating resources. Brain and heart come first. Beauty is optional. But now we're getting into signals people almost never connect to deficiencies. And this is where years of doctor visits usually begin. Night calf cramps, eye twitching. That's not age, and it's not stress. Most of the time it's magnesium, which controls electrical signals in muscles. When it's low, muscles fire when they shouldn't. Numbness and tingling come from nerves, and this is where B12 deficiency often shows up. Something people can ignore for years. Everything we've talked about so far is uncomfortable but tolerable. From here on, the signals start directly affecting quality of life. If you get sick every winter like clockwork, that's not weak immunity. Immunity isn't a single organ, it's a system. And the systems need resources. Even a mild vitamin D deficiency can reduce resistance to infections significantly. So people don't just get sick more often, they also recover slower. The issue isn't the viruses, it's whether the body has anything to fight with. Bruises appear out of nowhere. Cuts heal slower than they used to. That means the body is saving on repair. Most often, it's low vitamin C, zinc, or protein. If the body cuts corners on healing, resources are already critically low. And now we get to the most subtle but most important signals. The ones involving the brain. It's harder to focus, memory gets worse, your brain feels slower. People like to blame age or screens, but the brain is the most energy-demanding organ. When resources are low, it slows down first. Iron, B vitamins, iodine, omega-3. These aren't supplements, they're building blocks for thinking. Lower libido in men, loss of interest in life. That's not normal. It's a sign the body has switched into survival mode. When resources are low, it shuts down everything that isn't essential. Constant cravings for sweets, especially under stress. We think it's lack of willpower, but very often it's low magnesium and protein. That's why cravings come in waves. Apathy, emptiness, loss of joy. This often gets labeled as depression, but deficiencies can mimic it perfectly because without basic nutrients, the brain simply can't function properly. If you recognize yourself in 3 or more points, that's not coincidence. It's not a reason to panic, and not a reason to treat symptoms blindly. It's a signal to check the foundation. There's a basic set of tests that explains most chronic complaints, and that's always where it makes sense to start. If you made it this far, something clearly resonated. Write in the comments which signals you notice in yourself. And if this reminded you of someone close to you, send them this video. If this was helpful, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow. Sometimes simply learning to hear your body is enough to start changing a lot in your life.